Hi there, guess what? I'm going to New York to buy some fabric. Now, if you are like you probably have a stash of fabric already in the house. I do. Unfortunately, I have a lot of fabric. Well, actually, fortunately, with the pandemic, it has really been great to have the fabric because I haven't had to go shopping. Whenever I needed something new to wear, I just went into my stash and pulled out fabric that I had bought back when, and I sewed it up. But now I'm going to New York because I need some fill-ins. And by that I mean I may have fabric that would make a great suit, but maybe I need the lining. Maybe I need fabric for a blouse so that it would go with a suit. So that's what I'm about to do. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. First of all, I'm going with a close friend who has been taking my classes and coming to me for lessons. We're going together because she needs fabric too. We're going to go up this Wednesday. It's a snowstorm right now, so I hope it's going to be clear enough for us to go. And I am taking my little suitcase with me because I intend to bring home some really great finds. And here is the suitcase. Here it is. And just in case I buy more than I plan to buy, it has a bag inside which I can strap on the handle. So I'm going to be well equipped for this. That's what I'm planning to do. In preparation for this trip, I need to be organized so that when I come home, I have what I need instead of what I saw and couldn't live without, and now I don't have the notions or whatever that I need to go with it. So I've been organizing to go, and I'm going to show you what I've been doing. First of all, several months ago, I realized that I needed to reorganize my fabrics, that it had been a long time since I did it, and I needed to go through everything I had, sort out what I didn't need and donate it, and organize everything so I could find it again. And that's what I did. And this is what I have. Now you can see how much fabric I have just by looking at this little notebook. All right, on the front cover, by the way, I cut this from cardstock that I bought at Staples. I cut it in half and punched holes in it so I could make this little booklet. It doesn't look very good, but I will tell you right now, it saved me a lot of money. So on the front cover, I have my business card in case I leave it behind. God forbid. It's been a lot of work to put this together. And I have yardages for all the basic things I make. Now, I tend to look good in classic designs anyway. And when I make clothes, I just take patterns that already fit me, and I often adjust them a little this way or that way so they look a little different. So here's my yardages so that when I'm in the store, I know how much to buy. And this column is for 45-inch wide, and this is for 60-inch wide. And I have shell, shorts, pants. Let's see, what's this say? Jeans, which I haven't been making lately. Blazer, a skirt. I don't have the yardage, but it's usually about a yard. And a blouse takes about 3 yards. So that's give or take a little bit, but there's always enough. And I cut close. All right. So that's the first page. And then here I have the different fabric swatches from the fabrics. And I have where they're stored, because I have bins underneath my cutting table and they have labels. So this is where they're stored, and this is how wide and how many yards I have of the fabric. So that this saves me from going through all these boxes trying to find something. This way I can look through this, find out what I have, and I don't make a big mess. This has all been done, by the way, on my color palette. Back years ago, when Color Me Beautiful was such a big deal, I was listening to my friends over at the pool where I took my children in the summer, and the various ones were getting the colors analyzed. A lot of them wanted to save money, so they didn't go to Color Me Beautiful. But I saw that the one woman who had gone to Color Me Beautiful, she seemed to be doing the best with this. So I asked for it for Christmas, and my husband gave me not just the color analysis, but the whole shebang, the makeup, the color analysis, and the wardrobing. And I went 3 times out to King of Prussia. It's not there anymore, unfortunately, but that's what I did. And here is my color palette, which I've kept and written down which of the colors are the best. And then it was later discovered that one needed to know one's second best color season in order to really zoom in on the colors that were best in one's primary season. And so I have these colors as well here. And I then went through all my fabrics, got rid of all the fabrics that weren't right, clothes, accessories, everything. Cleared it out and moved over into my winter into summer palette. And that's what I did with my fabrics, my notions, everything. The walls moved back. But since then, when I see something really good that would be right for me, I buy it so I have it on hand. So those of you who are thinking, oh, she's going to stash just like I do. Maybe it's not so bad that I have all these fabrics. You're right on. I have found this is a very good thing to do because when you need something, try and find it. If you already have it in the house, you don't have to go to the store. You can go right at it. All right, so that's what I'm doing. All right, so now I am organizing for this trip to New York. And I was writing down what I needed, and it just didn't seem to be very well organized. So what I did was I scanned in a cover from a pattern packet, and then I made this page. I reduced the scanning to make it a little smaller, and I organized it about sets because the best way to make clothing is to consider making it in sets. And when I buy a piece of fabric that I really like, I buy enough for the pants, the jacket, blouse often, skirt, so that I have an ensemble. And then when I go to get dressed, I can mix and match it with other things I have in my closet, but I will have, say, a pair of pants and jacket that match. And then I can put in a blouse, maybe a different blouse than I had planned originally. But that's how I work it. So now I'm going to show you how I'm organizing for New York. Looks like I may be doing some seminars in the future. If so, I'll keep you informed about them because you might want to come. In these seminars, the way I have planned it, I will be showing the participants how I go about designing and making, say, a skirt, a blouse, jacket, pants, basic things everybody needs. Also a dress, perhaps. And there are quick, easy ways you can do this and produce truly professional garments that will cost thousands of dollars in New York. There's no way that I could afford to buy the clothes I could make. So why on earth would I buy them? The clothes that I buy in the store I consider to be my quote-unquote junk clothes. I wear them around the house. I wear them to go shopping for groceries, just ordinary stuff where I don't want to wear my nice clothes. But I'm realizing that more and more I've got to wear clothes that I've made because people want to see me in them. They expect me to have made the clothes I'm wearing. And by the way, I did make the blouse I'm wearing. I made this at least 20 years ago. And if you look, you'll see that it's all cut to match. I bought it from a great little fabric store near here that unfortunately is no longer in business. Well, that's one of the reasons we're going to New York. So many fabric stores have gone out of business that it justifies going to New York. But only if you're organized. Because when you go, you want to make the best of the trip. It's not cheap to go to New York. All right, so anyway, here's what I've done. I looked through here. I organized in my mind what I would need to wear for these seminars. And I checked out what I might use. And I found that, now I have all the pages in here numbered. So here is one outfit, and I'm going to buy what I need for this outfit. Now, I want to go back to basic organization for shopping. If you're smart, and you probably are, and you probably do this, when you go to the grocery store, before you ever go, you write down a menu based on what you have, and what's on sale. And then you check your coupons and you organize so that when you go into the grocery store, you have a list of the things you need to buy to make the things that are on your menu. And that way you're organized, you come home with what you need, and you're not going back to the grocery store until the next week when you need supplies again. Same with buying items for sewing. So I checked what I already have. What can I use of what I already have? There's no point in buying more stuff. I already got lots of stuff. I need to buy what I need to complete the outfit. And when I look through my book here, I found, I'm looking here, it's on page 71. I'm going to turn this over here to page 71. And I found these fabrics here. And when I looked at them in my swatch book, they didn't seem to really match. But I knew that I had matched them on the table. So I went to the actual bin where I have this fabric and I pulled it out. And here it is. And when I looked at it, the large amounts, I found it did match and look great. Are you ready for this? This fabric I bought out of a bin down on 4th Street. I think it was $1 a yard, maybe a little less. So I bought plenty of it. And I'm planning to cut it to match. It'll be a blouse, but I'm going to need a shell underneath so you can't see through it. So on my list here, I've written down what I'm going to need. And it says buy 10 yards of white. Why 10 yards? Because what would also look good with this would be a white self-lined skirt, a white self-lined shell, and I would need 10 yards to also make the lining under this so that I could, well, let's see what I'm planning to do here. I'm planning to make a white blouse, a self-lined skirt, self-lined pants. That's why I need 10 yards. Pardon what I said before. I'm looking at my notes to see what I'm planning to do. All right, and it also includes the white lining I'm going to need behind this. All right, that's what I'm going to need. This fabric, which is going to be, I'm going to make a skirt, pants, and jacket from this. The skirt lining, I have already my swatches. I don't need to buy that, so I'm not going to buy it. All right, so what else am I going to need? Well, obviously, if I'm making a blouse, I'm going to need buttons to button it. And if I'm making a jacket, I'm going to need buttons to go down the jacket. So I looked at my buttons, and my buttons are all organized according to color. This all took a lot of time to do, by the way, but I didn't do it all at the same time. I did the buttons maybe a year ago. I organized my fabric about 6 months ago. You want to do it all at once. It'll make you sick to your stomach. But anyway, here's buttons. And they look pretty good with this. I'm going to need 5 down the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I have a cuff, I'll put a couple buttons there, but maybe these will just be spare buttons. And I don't know just yet exactly what jacket I will make, but I know I have enough fabric to do it. All right, so that's one that's organized there. All right, now with this, I'm going to need buttons for the front of the blouse, and probably white would look the best. All right, so here's my box of white buttons, and the question is, do I have any buttons that will look good with this? Let me put all this aside. Put this over here for the time being. By the way, I am taking this swatch book with me. I'm taking my colors with me. Let's face it, I'm taking my little suitcase with me so I can just throw it in there. And if I have any question about anything, I can quick look here. All right, so what about buttons for this? This is never an easy box to open. Okay, there we go. All right, so what buttons would go on this? And I'm looking and I can see some buttons I definitely don't want to use. So let's see. What about these little pro buttons? They don't quite come off. What else is here? It's too small. There's a little bit of a yellow cast to those. They're not quite right. I like these, but they're too big. They're just too big. So what else have I got? Got a little bit of a yolk. It's not quite pure white. Not really white right either. I don't see anything in here that I'm really happy with. Nothing's quite right. All right, let's see what I got here. What's this? Yuck. Nothing. You know what I think would look good on this? If I could find something like this, only much smaller. So I'm going to see they're too big. They would overpower this blouse. They're just too big. I'm going to see if I can get some, I don't know what you call these. They're plastic buttons. Clear plastic buttons. So I've got to write that down on my list so I know sure I get them. And I have a list here. Buttons. Clear plastic. I did already write that. And I want clear plastic, and I'm saying 10. I'm going to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need 10 because I want 2 on each cuff. That's 4. I want 5 down the front. So that makes 9. And I need to have at least 1 extra in case I lose one. Okay. So I need 10 clear plastic buttons for the gray chiffon. So when I'm looking at buttons, I have that on the list. That's the buttons I need for this. And whatever buttons I need for the other items on my list, I'll list them down here too. So when I'm in the store and I'm at their button section, I will look at all their buttons and I'll check off the buttons I need and get all the buttons I need or whatever buttons they have that I can use. And I will cross them off my list as I go New York. And that'll speed things up. This is a color that I don't normally use, but it turns out that although it looks brown, it's actually a gray. I think they call it a taupe. And this is a color that's I can wear, but I got to jazz it up. All right. So what I'm planning to do with this fabric, and I have enough for a skirt, pants, jacket, I'm going to make a jeans jacket. The best patterns, by the way, are those that you copy of ready-made garments. And I have a jeans jacket I really like that I bought in California. Now this jacket, I'm looking at it to see just what I'm going to need, and I see that it's got these buttons that are back like this. They're kind of unusual. So I'm going to see if I can find anything like that in New York. I'm not going to go out of my way because I don't want to take any time away from my friend. But if I'm looking at buttons anyway and I find them, I'll make sure to get them. And these are little silver buttons, but I would want, if possible, to match that. But probably that would be okay on that because it was going to be a jeans jacket. So I've got to take a little picture of this or make a little drawing on my but as a matter of fact, I'm just going to make a little circle here so I know what it is. And this is jacket snap. Well, actually, it's a jacket button, silver jacket button, and I find out what its diameter is, which is 3/4. And these are buttons. And I'm going to need, let's see how many they have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And let's see if there's anything on the cuff. 8, 9, 10. So 12 would be a smart number to buy. Okay, 12. And I'm going to circle that because this is something I'm actually going to buy. where I have explanations by what I'm buying, but I circle what I actually need to buy so I know. All right, and I have all the other notions I need to make this outfit, so I don't have to worry about that. But what I do want is, well, actually, this is going to look good with a really vivid red blouse. But if I could find a print that goes with this, that would be really, really great. Tough to find, but I might find it. They're all going to be in New York. You never know what you just might find. Okay, so this is, so looking here on my chart. And this, I'm calling it a hat ensemble. Buy blouse print for hat ensemble, and I've got that down already, and circle with a red circle. So if I find that, I'll buy it. If I don't, maybe I'll find it another time. That's all. All right, another thing I need to buy is I want to buy, this away for a moment, silver lining. This is a blouse that I decided to make to wear to New York. It's almost done, but not quite. I found this down at Mr. James. He's out of business now, but he was down on 4th Street. And the fabric was really unusual. So you had this knit, but on the back, it was this silver. So as you can see, this is the way it's going to look. It's going to have, here's the collar. It's got a placket down the front. And I've got snaps to hold it together underneath. I only had 6 of these buttons, so I would have liked to add more, but if I had put buttons down further, they'd probably be in a bad way because they kind of stick up. So I just put 3 down the front. I'm going to put 1 on each of the cuffs, and each cuff is going to be this wide. I made the sleeves longer, made the cuffs shorter, so it would come out like that. And there'll be 1 of these buttons on each of the cuffs. I have 1 button left over in case. You never know. I lose one, but I can't sew this on the shirt as I normally do because it sticks up too much. I have to put it someplace else. So that's what I'm making, and I have enough of this fabric left over to make a straight skirt. I'm going to make it so that it finishes with this down the front, but no buttons. Just it's going to snap down the front, and I'm going to have to put a zipper in it. So I want to have a lining, and I also want to make a shell. I know I can't find this particular fabric again. That would be just too much good luck. That just isn't going to happen. But I want to make a little shell that's just white, and I can make that that'll be used for several different garments. But I want to get a lining that's silver to go underneath this skirt. And so I've written that down on my list. So here is where I have the swatch of the fabric. I actually put a swatch here because I just cut this blouse. I have plenty of fabric lying around that's going out in the trash. So buy silver lining and blouse fabric for the shell and skirt lining. And blouse fabric, I wanted silver lining. I actually wanted to put a silver blouse shell underneath as possible. And I put blouse fabric, but I'm going to put shell in here. So a shell and skirt lining, silver. And maybe I can find that. Maybe I can't. We'll see. I know I can make the skirt with what I have. I can always put a white lining under it if I need to, but maybe while I'm in New York, I'll just happen to find something like that. So it's on my list. All right. Another thing I need is a separating zipper. I just made myself a coat, and if you go on Instagram, you can see it. But I'm realizing I really need a jacket, and I have a jacket I wear all the time, absolutely everywhere, that I really love. Very, very comfortable. So take the pattern off of it. Why not? Because that's the way you go. And I'll get a better pattern if I take pattern off. The patterns that are used in industry are practical. They are designed for speed and sewing, for good fit, and for comfort. And when you buy something in the store that fits well, why not take the pattern off? Now, just in case you want to know, I am in the midst of finishing a book that shows how to copy garments. It's called Copying a Man's Shirt, but you'd use the same procedures to copy anything. That's why I'm writing that book. Not only to have the information for making a man's shirt, but also to have the information in my program for how to copy a ready-made garment. So here is my jacket. And I look at my jacket and I see the thing I'm going to need is a separating zipper. All right, so how long does it need to be? And the answer is measure it. They'll have separating zippers in New York. Let's see, how long is it? Okay, measure it right like this. Right on up. Right on up. And I see that I need, well, this is actually 27.5 inches. There is no such thing as a 27.5 inch separating zipper, I'll tell you that right now. Well, I can buy a 27-inch or a 28-inch zipper, and I'm going to make that. Let's see, I want to show you the fabric I'm going to use to make it. All right, that's on page 45. That's where I have the swatches. And here it is. Got a little package because it's fake fur. I seem to be wearing a lot of blue these days, but it's a good color for me, and I've already got the fabric, so I'm not going to go buy anything else. And here it is. I think that'd be pretty neat. Make a bomber jacket out of that. And I also am going to need to buy some backed lining to make it warm. Okay, so I need a 27-inch zipper. And because this has got a lot of white in it, I'm going to buy a white separating zipper. That's safer. Okay, this is a zipper, bomber jacket, 27-inch. And I'm going to circle that with red. So I know that's an item that I'm going to be buying. It's not just an explanation. That's what I want to buy. Okay? And I've also got on this list the lining for this. So that's on this list. This is a list that has the fabrics that I need. This is a list that has the notions I need. They're usually separate in a store, so it's a different department. And this is for buttons and zippers. Threads, I have plenty of thread on hand. As you're beginning to realize, I pretty much have a store right in my own house. And I never meant to buy all this. And if my grandmother were alive and she knew how much fabric I have, she would be appalled. She bought fabric, she sewed it up. She never had fabric lying around the house. When she needed fabric, she went to the store, she bought it, she made up the outfit, that was it. And she didn't have scraps or anything else. There'll be a few scraps left in case you need to fix something from where she cut, but there wasn't any fabric left to make anything, period. She was very, very practical and very, very well organized. I'm organized too, but in a completely different way. And I've got to say that my grandmother was thrilled to death with my achievements in the industry. That's it, folks. I'm off to New York. Bye for now.